Now we've already shown how all the forces in the x direction are equal to 0. Let's show how all of the forces in the y direction are equal to 0. Okay, we're going to apply the same principles. Everything in the positive y direction is going to be positive, and everything in the negative x direction is going to be negative. So we can then write, and I'll try and do this a little more simply than I did before, that all the forces in the y direction equals 0, and that's going to be equal to colors. T1 sine theta and is it positive or negative? It's positive because it's in the positive y direction, and we'll say plus T2 sine theta plus, because we're summing everything, negative mass times gravity, because mass times gravity is acting in the negative y direction. Okay? And so, to further simplify this equation, we can see that sine theta and sine theta are the same. So let's say that it's actually T1, oopsies, not Ti, T1 plus T2 sine theta equals, oops, not equals, whoops-a-daisies, minus mg is equal to 0. Okay, we've gotten here the same way we got here with the x-axis. We ignored everything that wasn't projected onto the y-axis exclusively, and then we started adding them together. So what we can see here is then that mg equals T1 plus T2 sine theta. Whoopsies. Sine theta. And this is as far as we need to get right now. Okay? We have now defined, because we know this, and we defined that T1 equals T2 in our previous video, we can simplify this as far as we need to start solving for T1 and T2. What I really wanted to highlight with this section of videos is how we can start with our free body diagram, project these onto our x and y axis, and then come up with systems of equations to solve. Now, if you want to see the equations that we have solved for, what I'll do is I'll write them up here in the corner. We said so far that the sum of the forces equals 0. Therefore, sum of the forces x equals 0. So T1 equals T2 from our x direction. Our second equation was that the sum of the forces in the y direction equals 0, and therefore our mass and gravity are equal to the sum of T1 plus T2 times the sine of the angle that they share. And this is how you set up a basic statics problem using force projections to simplify much more complex arrangements.